President-elect Donald Trump has just released a video outlining his policy plan for his first 100 days in office, including jobs, trade, and energy.
My agenda will be based on a simple core principle: putting America first. Whether it's producing steel, building cars, or curing disease, I want the next generation of production and innovation to happen right here on our great homeland, America, creating wealth and jobs for American workers. As part of this plan, I've asked my transition team to develop a list of executive actions we can take on day one to restore our laws and bring back our jobs. It's about time. These include the following. On trade, I am going to issue our notification of intent to withdraw from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a potential disaster for our country. Instead, we will negotiate fair bilateral trade deals that bring jobs and industry back onto American shores. On energy, I will cancel job-killing restrictions on the production of American energy, including shale energy and clean coal, creating many millions of high-paying jobs. That's what we want. That's what we've been waiting for. On regulation, I will formulate a rule which says that for every one new regulation, 2 old regulations must be eliminated. So important.
All right, so let's get some reaction from our political experts and our correspondents. Sarah Murray, you didn't hear Donald Trump mention deportations, didn't mention the border wall with Mexico, didn't mention, at least in this particular statement, Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. Were you surprised by that?
Not particularly, Wolf, because I think that what Donald Trump wanted to lay out in this video was essentially what you would call low-hanging fruit, the things that he can do of his own accord to show that he wants to be productive, that he feels like he can make inroads on some of these policy priorities before he has to go to Congress and work on some of these bigger things. A lot of the things you heard in that video are things Donald Trump can do by executive order. So he can sort of show up in office and in his first few weeks, his first 100 days, basically say, look at all of the things I've already gotten done, before he has to go to Congress and deal with thornier issues like the border wall.
Scenes of cooperation in southwest China as U.S. and Chinese soldiers work together to free a victim trapped in rubble, or to treat an injured person, or to build a bridge to rescue people trapped on the other side of a river. It's a joint disaster relief exercise overseen by top U.S. and China commanders.
This is the 4th such disaster relief drill since 2013, and it is a show of goodwill from both sides. But this friendly atmosphere going on here is a stark contrast to what's going on not far away from here, where the U.S. and Chinese navies are locked in a tense standoff in the South China Sea.
Since 2012, the Chinese have seized territory and militarized artificial islands in the region. In response, the U.S. has sailed warships and flown planes nearby. The delicate stalemate is part of a complicated relationship between the world's 2 largest militaries that the new U.S. Commander-in-Chief will have to manage. But what will U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's military policy toward China look like? In short, it's hard to tell. Trump largely avoided the issue on the campaign trail, driving home an anti-China economic message instead.
We can't continue to allow China to rape our country, and that's what they're doing.
Some analysts have speculated that Trump could give China more of a free pass in the South China Sea, instead focusing on other issues like trade. But others point to who might join Trump's administration and say a tough on China policy could be in the works.
Very conservative people who really embrace very anti-China rhetoric.
Trump's pick for National Security Advisor, retired General Mike Flynn, has said that China should, quote, certainly be viewed as an enemy of the United States. Retired General James Mattis, a top contender for Defense Secretary, last year called for a, quote, policy to build the counterbalance if China continues to expand its bullying role in the South China Sea. Back at the disaster relief exercise, CNN asked another expert, 4-star General Robert Brown, commander of the U.S. Army Pacific, what advice he would give to the Trump administration on China if asked.
The more you can build relationships, it leads to trust. And when you lead to trust, you can have differences.
Those differences were put aside at this joint training.
Thank you.
But it will be up to Donald Trump and his administration if any more group photos will be taken in the years to come. Matt Rivers, CNN, Kunming, China.